are somewhat live. Okay. This is a special episode of the Leg Kick podcast. We have from Hoboken, New Jersey right now, Professor?
Right now it's from Hoboken, New Jersey, David Brand.
David,
hey.
Yes, okay. Currently in Hoboken, New Jersey. Now, this is a special episode of the Leg Kick podcast, fresh with this BJJ Fanatics hoodie. We've got Professor Shy Ace. Now, once in a while, just to give a little bit of an introduction before I allow you to introduce yourself, once in a while you come across a hidden gem in the jiu-jitsu and MMA community, someone who's been completely overlooked but is a wealth of knowledge and has played a big role in the history and rich, body of techniques, and has really developed the game in a significant way. And for me, that was when I went to New Jersey and I met Professor Shy Ace over here. So, Professor, how about you introduce yourself to our audience?
What's going on, guys? I'm Shy Ace. I trained with the Danaher Death Squad. I started with John, and finished with John. I didn't move to them with Texas. I stayed in Jersey, but it's all good.
Kept it loyal. Okay, and that's what a lot of people don't necessarily realize. When I went down to New York and New Jersey, I was under the assumption that the entire Danaher Death Squad had picked up and left to Texas, but it seems that when I was down there, every third person you know is like, yeah, I know John. Like, oh, you mean John Danaher? It's like, yeah, I trained with. I used to train Gary and Gordon. Oh, you mean Gary Tonin and Gordon Ryan? You guys are on a first name basis, and that was a big shock to me coming from the middle of buttfuck nowhere, Canada. So maybe if you could give us a little bit of your background in BJJ and MMA and how you got started into martial arts, that would be appreciated.
Well, I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. So I was always fighting. So it was just a natural thing. First off, when I started fighting, it led me to a boxing gym. Now, by the time I already got into a boxing gym, I had been in so many fights. I had already learned to parry on my own. I didn't even know it was a move that existed. I got there. My first day, my teacher had me sparring somebody. He was like, "You boxed before?" I was like, "Nah." He was like, "You parrying?" I'm like, "What?" I didn't even know it was a move. And then
Oh, sorry, Professor, you're cutting. Sorry, Professor, you're cutting out here. We missed the last. Oh, sorry, Professor, your audio's cutting out. Could you rewind about 10 seconds? Oh, and I think we might have lost him for a second.
All right, let's see if we can get him back.
Yeah, I can't hear him right now. I'm not hearing his audio.
All right, let's see if we can get him back. All right.
Yeah. What
there
about
we
now?
And you're back. You're back. Perfect. Yeah. We lost you there for a second.
Yeah, sorry. So, you were telling us about the parry and like you even know that was a move.
We left off there on the parry.
I didn't even know that was a move. I was in the boxing gym doing it, and they looking at me saying I boxed before. I was like, nah, And then my teacher was real harsh and real tough. Like my first day in the gym, he wanted to see if I was cut out for this. He put me in there right away with the champ, with the Golden Glove champ, the Diamond Glove champ, all that. I'll never forget his name. His name was KC. Bust my lip open. But after I was boxing for a few years, me and my trainer walking down the street, and we see a sign of MMA sign. This is back in the day when MMA didn't nobody know shit about MMA, none of that. So he sees a sign. It's a flyer. It's about a MMA fight tournament that takes place in the gym. He looked at me. He looked at the flyer. He was like, "Can you stop them kids from taking you down?" I'm young, so I want to be tough. I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah, I can." He was like, "Can you knock all of them out?" I said, "Hell yeah, I can." So he signed me up in it, right? So now we go to this gym that's holding these MMA fights back in the day, and it was kind of set up like a grappling match. You had to beat everybody. Like it just wasn't one fight at a time. You had you had to fight your bracket. So I didn't know not one move, not one wrestling move. I didn't know not one effing move. The day of the fight came up, my trainer wasn't there. I was there by myself. I was there alone, and I beat the first guy, knockout. I beat the second guy, knockout, and then as I started winning, my opponent's teacher, who who I just beat, felt bad for me. He seen I had no corner, seen I was by myself. He seen I didn't have no moves, and the last guy I was fighting was a good wrestler, so it was gonna be over for me. So he jumped in my corner and showed me the Kimura right then and there. I finished that kid in the Kimura right then and there, and then that's when I knew this shit is real. I said, I gotta sign up in the gym. This shit real. So then that's how I met John. Signed up at Henzo Great Gym, and I ran into John.
Jesus Christ, a real trial by fire. And I can confirm that a lot of having trained under you for a few months now and more in the future, definitely, I can confirm that a lot of the old school kind of mentality that you talk about definitely comes out in your training, but in a lot smarter way than I've seen in a lot of how a lot of very kind of old school stuck in their way gyms do it. We're sparring every day. There's a focus on just no bullshit, straight up technique, just drill, 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 then roll. And then, if it's striking, it's drill 3 or 4 moves and then it's get at it. So, yeah, talk to us a little bit about your journey with jiu-jitsu after that tournament. So how did that?
So so I won that. So I understood this is real, So I knew jiu-jitsu gives you a power over the human body like none other. You can break any limb you want. So of course I was excited. So so I started training with John, and then after 10 days I did a jiu-jitsu tournament. I ended up taking second place. I didn't win the whole thing, but I didn't do my bracket. I jumped I jumped right there in intermediate. Then my next match, after training with John, I as a blue belt, I was competing under black belts, and I was winning.
Mhm.
My teacher, John.
Sorry, go ahead.
What got me so good so fast is the minute I seen John, I knew he was a real guy. I knew everything. I knew he was smart. I just knew. I looked at him. I already knew he was no nonsense, and he's bright. He's smart, and everything works. So when John would teach to a class full of 60, 70 students, to me, I would focus on him so hard. It was a private. It was just like I was the only one there. If you want to get good at anything fast, you got to pay attention to detail. I can't stress that enough. You got to pay attention to detail. If John would have threw up a gang sign with his toes while he did the move, I'd have did the same shit. However he did the move, I copied my body the same exact way. Before I know it, man, as a blue belt, I finished every black belt in my academy, and this was at the time when my academy was the toughest gym, probably arguably in the world, maybe, as far as grappling.
Is that like, a lot of people kind of say that, like you hear that throughout the, like you hear that like when Gordon Ryan says it, or like Gary Tonin says that, like they'll talk about like John's teaching style and how it makes them good. So it's like, it's interesting to hear like you say that as well. Like, is that kind of something that you try to mimic with your students as well? Like that idea of like, oh, get these guys to pay attention to detail.
Yes. Yeah, I learned a lot from John, man. I learned so much from him. So I'm just trying to make my kids, just as good. I want to be a great teacher, just like him one day.
Nice.
Funny thing is, I don't even enjoy teaching, but I like when people progress, and I like seeing them do good. But to me, I don't have to teach. Like some people just they want. I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? I do it for the love of the people, the sport. Whatever.
That's interesting that you say that you don't like to teach because, to me, I mean, as far as detail goes, attention to detail and, just attention to how your students are doing, you're probably, one of the best, if not the best that I've ever seen. So it's interesting that you say that you don't like teaching necessarily because, when I was in your classes, what I saw was just a very specific eye of like, no, you're doing that wrong, fix this one thing in particular. And to me, that's not something generally I associate with somebody who says that they don't like teaching. So could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes, no, you are right about that. It was never an important thing for me. Like I remember in the classes, everyone used to jump up and they used to want to teach so bad. I ain't never give a fuck about none of that. You know, yeah, it was like an ego thing for everybody. Like it just, I never cared about that. But to me, I just want to see my students. But I like to more than I like to teach. I like to learn more than I like to teach. So and I want I want the best for my kids. So that's why I emphasize attention to detail.
Right. And you said you always want to learn, and to my knowledge, like the best teachers are people that are always students themselves at the same time and always learning, right?
Yep. Yes, you're right. Yep.
I had a moment myself when I walked into Dave Branch's gym and I came to your class, and here I was thinking that I was at least somewhat good at leg locks, and that illusion got blown open for me very, 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 very quickly. Hold on, I unplugged my mic. 1 second.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, we're back.
You're actually good at upper body submissions.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, so I had I don't know if you know Chris. The first exposure I got to any Danaher guys down there was Chris. Do you know Chris Raymond?
John taught a class full of 60 to 100 kids, but he had very few students. So everyone that took his class wasn't a student. Yes, I know him.
Yeah, nice guy. So he was the first Danaher guy that I rolled with, and I had this moment where I'm like, after I. Oh, sorry, go on.
Chris took classes, but he's not a Danaher guy. It was very few Danaher guys.
Okay, fair enough. So he's had some exposure to the squad, and I rolled with him and I asked him like, "Oh, how's my game?" And he said, "Oh, you're good. Your upper body stuff is great. You just need to work on your leg locks." And my heart sank in my chest. And then, Professor, you gave me a very similar message. So yeah, for me, that was kind of like my moment of like exposure to, okay, there's obviously levels to this game. So I mean, I'm sure you obviously know a lot about the history of leg locks and how they were kind of very much frowned upon not that long ago in MMA and jiu-jitsu. So walk us through what you've seen and how that's changed as far as that goes.
Oh, now leg locks are the shit today. I remember back in the day, I was the only one doing them in the gym. I was the only one. I had a shitty standard heel hook, and it was just trash. And it was frowned upon. Like if you tap somebody out in there, it was like, yeah, but he heel hooked me, like it wasn't a legit win. And now I come to see, and people used to be like, why the hell do you like leg locks? And I used to tell them, you can't ignore 50% of the human body. That's half the human body. How could you ignore that? Of course, your submission rate is going to go up if you attack 100% of the body rather than 50% of the body. Really, legs are probably like 70%. They longer than your arms. They're bigger than your arms. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's most of the human body is your legs. So you ignore that, your game going to suffer.
Yeah. So sorry. Go ahead.
And a lot of what I've heard, like the discourse around when I started, and I can only imagine when you started what it must have sounded like, but leg locks were too dangerous, but they also didn't work. And they were cheap.
That was true too. Yeah, it was cheap and they don't work. Come on, it can't be all of them.
So one thing that I think maybe there's because obviously we know they are dangerous, but they do work, but they can be controlled in the same way that an armbar can be controlled. I mean, one thing though that I think there might be some grain of truth to that I think you can walk us through. What about the accusation that leg locks from the top are a means of losing position? You lose positional control when you go for those leg locks from the top.
Fuck no. Hell no.
Why not?
If you see my DVD, I heel hook people while remaining on top. That's first of all. Second of all, even if you go down to your back, it's just like boxing, right? A boxer is never more exposed than when he throws a punch. When his guard is up, his guard is high, everything's tucked in, his elbows is in. There's really not an opening. But the moment he goes to throw that punch, now he's vulnerable to counters, knockouts, everything. But guess what? What would happen if he never threw that punch?
He wouldn't score.
Exactly. He'll lose the fight. So in fighting, you got to take a chance. You got to take a chance. You know what I'm saying? Fighting is about risk.
I've never heard it broken down in that way, but that honestly makes a lot of sense. Mike, you had something you wanted to say. You had a question you wanted to ask.
Oh yeah, no, I kind of wanted to ask like that philosophy around leg locks, just to kind of build on that question. Like why was it so like the rhetoric around it so weird? Like that whole like, oh, it doesn't work, but oh, they're dangerous, but oh, they're cheap, but oh,
It's called hating. People was hating on them because because when I started teaching new guys that was doing it, new blue belts, they was tapping out old school black belts. So they was like, oh, it's cheap, or it made them chase the gi more, because it's not leg locks in there. So whatever people don't like, they're gonna try to discredit. Oh, it's cheap. Oh, it don't work. Oh, it's this. Please, it causes a hell of a lot of damage.
So it's like a jealousy thing.
Yeah, it's a hate jealousy thing. That's all. It means you suck at it. That's all you're saying. That people ask me why I don't like the gi, because that'll be like the equivalent to us doing no gi but not allowing arm bars. What the fuck is that? How you allow arm bars? It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's a submission. It's a breaking submission. You can't ignore it. Then you throw on a gi, no leg locks. Get out of here.
Interesting. So I'm glad to know that you don't like the gi as well, because I'm personally not a big fan. But
Yeah.
is your what's other than the fact that it's pajamas and 17th century samurai costume, and the fact that like half of gi chokes don't work in MMA or the street, what are your reasons for not liking the gi?
Well, one, no leg locks. That's the big thing to me. You can't be a black belt and then, oh, I'm a black belt only in the upper body. I mean, that's the main thing. And then every reasons I have besides that is small. Like it's not as exciting, it's not as fast paced. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes a guy that doesn't have your skill can hold you and stall you a lot easier. He'll grab onto the goddamn sleeves and hold on for dear life. It's just hard to get shit going. You know what I'm saying? No gi is faster paced, it's fun, and your submissions have to be A1. They got to be fucking tight, because you don't have no lapel, no leg pants, no friction to grab onto. Your technique got to be tight for you to hit them submissions. So I mean, it's just the most realistic, and I'm drawn to everything that's the most realistic. That's why I was drawn to MMA more than boxing, because it's just more realistic.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Steph. No,
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
I just wanted to say, like, yeah, because like one of the reasons why I kind of gravitated towards MMA as opposed to boxing, like I'm a big fan of boxing. I remember my first fight I remember as a kid was watching Diego Corrales' comeback against Jose Luis Castillo. I remember like as a kid watching that one. But I gravitated towards watching MMA and like The Ultimate Fighter, and because it just seemed like there was more options available. You can kick, you can wrestle, you can take somebody down to the ground. When you're on the ground, it's not necessarily over like in wrestling. Like if you're on the ground and now you fight them, it's over, right? So that's interesting you say that.
I wanted to ask you a quick question, Professor. So there's a theory I've had for a while, and you'd probably be since we're on the topic of the gi and not liking the gi, and you'd probably be pretty qualified to answer this. I have a theory that there's two reasons why MMA has gotten away from jiu-jitsu in a lot of ways. Whereas jiu-jitsu used to be the be-all and end-all in MMA, and if you were a jiu-jitsu black belt, it was like having a tactical nuke. Nowadays, MMA has largely become, striking with some takedowns. And one of them, I think, is because the rule set has kind of moved away from that, allowing for more stand-ups and clinch separations. But also, I think that jiu-jitsu guys have become a little bit, not overall, because we see innovation, but a little bit dogmatic and a little bit just fixated on, no, we have to preserve the art and train in the gi, and we can't adapt to this and that. And, we have to do it the way that the Gracies did it in the way that it's been done. And do you think, so if you could speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean that's the gi guys. They feel threatened that their sport would no longer be important. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but they shouldn't be. Like the Brazilians. They didn't like the Brazilians. They didn't like my style. I was going for leg locks, and then I was finishing people from dangerous situations, like while I was mounted, and shit like that. So they used to always yell at me, position before submission. But I turned the game around into submission before position, because you could be in a bad situation and finish somebody. but I think they kind of scared they're gonna lose their culture or their game, but they're not. It's just I told one of the professors, one of the black belts Brazilians, I was like, he was like, no gi jiu-jitsu is not jiu-jitsu. I said an arm bar and a gi or arm bar and no gi is still an arm bar, right? Case closed. That was it, you know. But yeah, so I mean, I still think jiu-jitsu is highly used a lot in MMA, but the problem is everyone knows it now. You know what I'm saying? Everyone knows everything. Now you have to be diverse because, you know what I'm saying, they'll get good at takedown defense. Now you can't take them down no more. They're going to make you stand up in boxing. You know? So you got to study everything.
Yeah, that was,
makes sense.
you know, what fight was it? UFC. It was a women's MMA fight, Dern versus
Oh,
Torres.
the one that happened this weekend?
Yeah,
Keisha
Dern
Torres?
versus
Yeah.
Torres. And you know, when Dern finally was able to kind of get some sort of jiu-jitsu exchange going, she was dangerous, but you could tell she had a lot of trouble, you know, taking it to the ground, right? And so
Getting it to that point, yeah.
yeah. So one of the things I kind of like about kind of at least, you know, with the new age of jiu-jitsu, I went more specifically to Danaher Death Squad guys, is they find interesting ways to get to the ground. Like they kind of almost forego the wrestling sometimes and get to the ground in certain ways by going to those leg attacks. Was that something like John was teaching from day one, or is that something that kind of evolved over time?
John taught everything from day one. Like, the shit that everyone's saying now, it's old news to us. It's old shit. Yeah, I mean, guys used to get single legs on us, and then we used to jump. You know what I'm saying? We used to jump right into the inverted heel hook on it all day. You know, or we'd take a single leg, and we'll sit back and finish with outside heel hook all day. Yeah, yeah, we just old shit, very old shit to us. Nothing new.
What's your opinion on teaching? Because one of the things that I found refreshing when I came to Dave Branch's gym to learn under you was you could have a day one white belt on the mats, or however many length, 2-3 month white belts, and they're on the same mat as a purple belt, and both of you guys are learning entry into the saddle from butterfly guard. Whereas in most gyms, it's like, no, we don't. Leg locks are radioactive until you hit black belt. We don't touch that shit. So what's
Yeah.
what's your opinion? I mean, what's the philosophy behind showing white belts leg locks from day one, even though they can't use it in competition necessarily?
I mean, the sooner you expose them to danger, you know what I'm saying, the better they get. That way, when they do see it, they well versed at it. You know, I mean, plus the black belts of today is going to be better than the black belts of yesterday. So you know what I'm saying. Now you're going to have blue belts that was doing shit that black belts was doing with leg locks. The game is evolving. So you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm gonna teach my white belts A1 leg locks right from the rip, A1 arm bars right from the rip. You know, it's about evolution. We evolving, technology getting better, the moves getting better. You know, so yeah, I'm not gonna hold my kid back. You know, he never seen a leg lock until he's a goddamn purple belt. Hell no. Hell no. I had white belts and I had blue belts finish black belts who I trained.
So I
Sorry.
have a question about that, because I've heard of a legendary story. Now, I haven't heard the video, but I heard that there's a certain black belt, someone out there who is, well, currently a black belt, but who, when they were a blue belt, went against a jiu-jitsu match against Cyborg. And I heard this person invited Cyborg to mount him multiple times so that he could try and heel hook him on purpose. You know anything about that?
Yeah, I do. I think I do know a kid like that. Yeah. So so you know, they lied and said the kid was a brown belt to get him on there, you know, because it was all elite black belts. Didn't nobody want to see a blue belt compete, you know. And the kid was young and wild at the time. And I remember everyone coming up to me. They was like, "Dude, you got Cyborg the first round. He got his own DVD." I said, "Man, I don't give a fuck, man. Line him up." You know. But I knew a guy like that was too seasoned. I knew I wasn't gonna beat him on points. You know what I'm saying? So I had to take a chance. I had to let him mount me. I had to let him pass. You know, I had to let him do that shit to get the match going, so I can try to catch him in the mistake. You know what I'm saying? I remember I remember that tournament. It was $1,000 for everybody you finish. You know, so if you finish your opponent, you get $1,000. So you definitely, back then that was a lot of money for a grappling match, just for a finish, not even for winning the whole thing. So you definitely wanted to finish your opponent. But I'm gonna tell you this: at that time, he was probably one of the best jiu-jitsu players. At that time, probably one of the best. But to me, he wasn't dangerous at all. I couldn't sleep in that match. I felt like I was gonna be submitted ever in my life. Yeah, he passed my guard. Yeah, he got mounted because I left. But I never felt threatened ever in my life. I never felt like he almost finished me. I never felt like holy shit. Now when I trained with the squad members, Jerry, Tony, Eddie, Wolverine, Gordon, Ryan, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, whoa, that's it's different. It's a different kind of stress. I know I could be finished at any moment. You know, but I wouldn't sleep in that goddamn match.
Yeah,
You know?
that's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting that some people in jiu-jitsu, which is supposed to be an art, a fighting art, there's people that get to the top levels of the game just based on positional advantages and gaming the rules and getting small points, and their jiu-jitsu is not dangerous. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah,
I like my kids to go for the finish.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Steph.
No, you first, Mike. You first. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, because I'm kind of enthralled because obviously I don't know if this is a thing down in the States, but in Canada, even for Nogi, you can't really use leg locks till you hit purple.
Well,
I don't know
not hold on, not exactly true. You can use straight ankle locks.
Yeah, sorry, you can use straight ankle locks, but you can't use
straight ankle locks. You can use banana split,
but you can't use heel
and
hooks,
electric chair, but no heel hooks, right?
Yeah, you can't use heel hooks. Sorry, I apologize, but you can't use heel hooks, right? So, I don't know if that's the same way in the States. So, like, would you think that maybe by opening up the heel hook game to like a white belt or a blue belt, that maybe you're kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of stifling them in a competition when they have to go there and when they go there and they all of a sudden can't use them. Do you think that's like not fair to them?
Let me tell you something. How can knowledge be useless?
Yeah, for sure.
It's knowledge. Right? You might not need math every single day, right? But what do? You learn it, you put it in your pocket. When you do need it, you got it to pull out. You know what I'm saying? It's just like carrying a gun. When you do need it, you got it. So I mean, but if you never had it, you never learned leg locks. Now it's shit. Now when you need it, you in a life situation, or you now you in a tournament where you in a fight where you can use them. Now you don't know shit about them. And the other guy been doing them since he was a white belt. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have a teacher that was biased and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
It's always better to have more weapons than less, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can't say no to knowledge. Knowledge is everything.
For sure. So would you say to those like officials who are making those rules that they gotta fix up and get those let the white belts just use some of those heel hooks, or would you say like for now it's?
I'm not arguing with them. I'm just putting my white and blue belts in the black belt category where they allowed to do them. Yorkie's a blue, and this summer he's competing in the advanced division. I'm putting him in advanced, and so he can do heel hooks. I ain't gonna teach him to suck and beat blue belts. I'm gonna teach him black right away.
Yes,
and
sir.
Yorgie's good. I've rolled against him. He tapped me with an Aoki lock once. I didn't even know what the fucking Aoki lock was, but I tapped to it. But yeah, no.
I'm glad you did that.
Sorry, say that again. You cut out for a second.
I said that move breaks before it even hurts.
I know.
So I'm glad you did tap to it. I broke a lot of people with that move, and they had no idea what was going on while I was breaking them. I felt bad. I knew it was gonna break. They didn't know what it was.
And that's the thing, right? When you're in that move and the person's refusing to tap, even if they don't recognize the danger, the goal of the submission is to break. It's not to elicit a tap, right? And if they tap, that's their own, good for you, you tapped, but.
Hey, but it's everyone's responsibility to take care of your own body. You know what I'm saying? That's your call. You tap or you don't want to tap. The choice is yours.
Well, okay, so what was the most disgusting injury that you've caused on someone else as far as a submission or a fight?
Man. Oh my God, so many.
Narrow down, top five.
Let me ask you this: unintentionally or intentionally?
Well, I mean, I'll take both.
Which one you want first?
Let's go with unintentional first.
Unintentional. I was training with a judo black belt, and he was also a jiu-jitsu black belt. He was both a judo black belt and he was a jiu-jitsu black belt. I wasn't a black belt. I was only a blue belt at a time. My favorite move, my favorite throw was called an Udageshi. Did I show it to you before, Steffi? Udageshi.
Udageshi. I don't know the Japanese terminology, but if you walk me through it, I might be able to remember it.
When the guy puts on a collar tie on you, you take the Russian, you lock your hands in the same fashion as you would a Kimura. You step back and then roll.
Oh yeah, and it's a sacrifice throw, right?
Yeah,
like you're falling backwards.
No,
Got
you're making him roll forward. But the problem is, if he doesn't roll, his shoulder will be shredded. So, he was a judo black belt. So I was expecting him to roll with the move, but he fought it. And you see on Discovery Channel how alligators grab a gazelle or grab a zebra and they do the alligator roll and twist and break the limb off.
Oh God.
Right. I took the Russian off him. I locked my hands in the Kimura. I stepped back and I rolled through. And he fought it and put his weight backwards. He didn't roll. So my whole body weight is in the air. It destroyed his shoulder. It did a full 360 turn. The shoulder did a full break. Yeah. Right. I tried to let go. My eyes was cracking. But it was just too late, man. And he went into shock. Like he didn't scream, he didn't say a word. He just sat on the side and didn't fucking move. Didn't move a muscle. Like he went into shock. When I went and told my teacher John, I felt bad as hell. I was like, yo, John, I think I shredded his shoulder. It's his fault. He's a judo black belt. How did he not know to fucking roll? He was like, don't feel bad for it. Yeah.
Jesus. Whenever you're like,
I felt so. Yeah, never.
The guy's still your friend that you threw?
You was breaking up. Say that again.
No, the judo black belt whose shoulder you tore. Are you still your friend?
When I see him, of course, yeah. I'm a friendly guy. I'm friends with everybody in the gym. Everybody in my gym know me.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, and he came up with us.
Whenever you're like, okay, what's the nastiest submission you've caused? And you're like, have you ever seen the Discovery Channel? You know shit's about to get grizzly. That's brutal. Okay. So what about the intentional one?
Now, okay, we're on air, right?
Yeah, but we can. If you want, we can cut anything out after. We're not like streaming live or anything. So if you want anything cut out, you just let us know.
No, I'm just warning y'all. I don't know how much, you know what I'm saying? It's what it is. Well, if you want to play it. But like remember when I told you there was a time when jiu-jitsu wasn't that popular?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So people didn't know what it was. So I was training with John as a white belt, and John gave me my blue belt. The minute he gave me my blue belt, I got some trouble. I got locked up. I was gone for a year and a day. They didn't know that. I just disappeared from the gym. So while I'm in there, I'm around kids that's doing life, and that don't have no commissary, don't have no mail. Like every time they come running down to check the mail, like I mean, a lot of kids just sad. You know what I'm saying? Nobody writing them letters. Nobody sending them no money for food and shit like that. So I just felt bad, right? I called my peoples and I had them send me a whole bunch of money, start flooding my account. So I bought everybody stamps so they can write. You know what I'm saying? I bought everybody food, this and that. So my one stupid ass cellmate thought I was trying to bribe my freedom. He thought I was doing that because I was scared. So he tried to press me. So I ended up breaking his arm. I ended up breaking his arm in a Kimura, in the key lock. Sorry, a key lock. And the key lock one way until it couldn't break no more. When it couldn't break no more, I turned it around to the Kimura and broke it back the other way.
Oh.
Then I moved downstairs to the legs. Then I'm breaking the legs. Now at this point he's screaming so loud, right? The guards called the rape code. They thought I was raping him or some shit. He's screaming at this point. Yeah, so it was pretty gruesome. Yeah. So now I was in trouble, right? Now I'm in trouble. He got 2 broken legs, 2 broken arms. Now they asking me what the fuck happened to him. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, we was fighting. He must have just fell the wrong way. I don't know how he did that shit. And they didn't have a clue what it was. Because this was 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Just popping 20 years ago. Yeah, he was.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he had his time in PC.
Oh damn.
Yeah, he was crippled.
Oh
Yeah,
my God, that's so. I mean, both arms, both legs.
And I broke them different ways. I turned it into a key lock. I broke it all the way. When it wouldn't go no more, I turned it back to a Kimura. I broke it the other way. Like it was nothing left of it. It was just the only thing that I was holding on the arm was skin. It was. I felt every vibration. I felt every vibration. Like, and he had a lot of muscles too, right? Oh, I'm gonna tell you this: if you break a skinny person's arm, right? The bone will snap. They'll probably be in the cast for 6 weeks. They'll probably be training in 3 months. If you break somebody's arm with a lot of muscle on them, they're done for a couple of years. I felt like every fiber of his muscle stripping off the bone, and then the bone broke. Like he had a bicep deform after that, all kinds of shit. It was just nasty. Yeah. It was a real nasty break. Yeah, it was nasty.
Well, I'm scared, and I think I need to call an adult. Jesus Christ! So, I mean, let it never be said that your jiu-jitsu is not street tested.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to people who say jiu-jitsu doesn't work on the street?
Man, I hope they never get into a fight with somebody that knows it. It does. A jiu-jitsu guy can break any bone on your body he wants to. Like, that's the crazy power over the human body you have. You can cripple somebody if you want to. You can choke them in 4 or 5 different ways until they die. You can break you can break the hip. I know how to break someone's hip, knee, ankles, arms, elbows, shoulders. You know what I'm saying? The neck.
It's literally like having a superpower over like 99% of the population.
Exactly. It's like being Superman. Exactly what it is. Without the strength, it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just technique. Technique is true. True strength resides in technique. John Danaher.
Speaking of which, if people are wondering what it is that that you can break the hip with, I've seen your and I've since showed it at back home in Toronto. Your adjustments on the banana split where it attacks the hip, the front part of the hip. So
yes.
Brutal. Doesn't matter how flexible you are.
Doesn't matter how you're breaking somebody. Doesn't matter if you do the banana split thing. Some guys are flexible. They can do the split, no problem. You know, but this move, it don't matter how flexible you are. It's gonna break your hips. Yeah, you seen it when we get a twisted situation. We put both palms on top of the knee, and then we bring the knee down towards our head and separates his hips.
Jesus Christ.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't use that one on the street
yet. Maybe you'll unlock a new achievement when you end up getting that one in a street fight. Mike, you want to say something?
Yeah, no, what's it called? So, definitely, you mentioned that like story, being locked up and stuff. And like you mentioned earlier, already being in lots of places before you even took like a boxing class, right? So, do you think like, I always wonder, because, when you talk to like, I talk to some people like who are on the streets and stuff, and they always kind of talk about like this idea of giving back. Is that probably the reason why, despite you don't like teaching, that maybe that's something that makes you want to teach? You want to kind of give back to people?
Yes, you hit it right on the head. Um, yes, that's why. You know, it's giving back. It's helping. I remember, like I said, I remember in my school, everyone used to jump at the chance. You ain't have to teach, they get attitude. Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? I like to generally do it because I know I got something good to offer, and I know my kids are going to benefit from it, and I want to see them happy. You know what I'm saying? I want to see them be champ. I want to see them beat guys they're not supposed to beat. You know, I want to see my blue belts tap out black belts. Yeah, so it's a small part to give it back. And I bought a property in Plainfield, New Jersey. I'm in Plainfield right now. We in we in Liberty. It's like the projects down here. So my school the building I bought isn't far from here. Yeah, so I plan on opening up a gym, and then I'm gonna do like a nonprofit where I teach everybody that grew up like I did for free. You ain't gotta pay for shit.
Oh, I didn't know you were opening up a gym down in Plainfield. So are you still going to be teaching at Dave Branch? Or are you splitting your time between the two?
Oh no, I'm only there for Dave as a favor. You know what I'm saying? I love David Branch to death. I came up with David Branch, so when I get my own gym, yeah, then I'm not gonna be at Branches no more. I'm gonna be at mine.
Damn, that's sad to hear. But wherever you are, when I'm back in the States, I'll obviously go there so I can train with you, and you know.
Definitely can. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, plus the guys are gonna come see me. You know, they gonna make a trip out of it. You know, they all gonna get together and come down to the gym on whatever days they want. You know, but yes,
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, I think that's
my plans.
Yeah, I like that a lot because like you know what's funny because you hear about that with with boxing a lot where like a lot of the guys who grew up in the projects will do a nonprofit for boxing and have like kind of like a kids after school program teaching kids boxing, and you don't really hear a lot for jiu-jitsu, and there's a lot of talent in the projects and there's a lot of talent in the hood.
Yes, there
So
is.
yeah.
And I feel like up until recently, jiu-jitsu's kind of been a rich kid sport.
Cut you off. Let me tell you this. I'm sorry. If you ever been in jail before, you would know that the best basketball players are in there. The best comedians are, best fighters are in there. All the talent is in there. It's sad. It's fucking sad,
dude. Like
yeah. So sorry.
man, no, sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
Go on, Professor. Continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying that. You know what I'm saying? So if you can catch them before they go in there, you know what I'm saying? If you can change the direction before they go that route, you did a great thing.
That's true.
You touched a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Because believe me, the shit I seen, but I seen some of the funniest guys in there. I seen some of the best basketball players that don't miss a shot. I seen some of the best fighters. I seen the kid that was so fucking nice. Like when people used to try to punch him, he used to back up and kiss their hand to be funny. Like the punch would just touch his lips, but not hard enough to bust it. Like that's how nice. That's how good his timing and his distance was. Like he would just clown you. I see one guy threw a punch at him. This was back in the day, and he just spinning, just untied his motherfucking shoelaces. Like I see some incredible things in there, man. There's just a lot of talent in there.
It's too bad. A lot of people who are just would have been one good role model away from doing something great with their lives, right?
Yeah, and now you got life in there.
It's terrible. So we've done about an hour. We're probably going to wrap this thing up in a second, but I just wanted to ask you one more question to end on a high note. What's your opinion of the Will Smith Chris Rock situation?
My opinion, man, I think Will's a fucking sucker, man. He a fuck. If this body, he should have slapped. It should have been Jada. Should have slapped the shit out of her. Like, come on, man, just gonna drag you through the mud. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna slap your friend over her? And let me tell you something. That wasn't even an insult. Like he didn't disrespect her. Demi Moore's a pretty girl. Where's she ugly at? Like, you know what I'm saying? How was that disrespectful? You know, Demi Moore ain't an ugly girl. That wasn't a, you know what I'm saying? Demi girl's a pretty girl with no hair. She went ball for G.I. Jane, tough Navy SEAL. Like, how the fuck was that an insult, you idiot? I feel like he just got stressed the fuck out of being a little bitch. His wife kept shitting on him. Everybody kept shitting on him. That dude, August Alina, was fucking his wife. So he took it out on the smallest guy. Now he want to be tough. Took it out on Chris Rock. Come on, man.
Wait, hold on, Professor. August was fucking his wife. I swear there was just I swear it was just an entanglement.
Yeah, well, it means the same thing. Same shit.
Oh wait,
that was some sucky shit for that.
Yeah, I want to. You know what? Because I wanted to say before we let you go. Let's. You recently had a BJJ Fanatic.
Oh yeah, I was gonna tell him to shout his stuff out first, and I was gonna put a little thing at the beginning where I shouted it out as well, so people see it. So please, you have.
So I have a BJJ Fanatics DVD that just dropped. Yeah, my DVD is out there. If you guys want to purchase it, you can go on BJJFanatics.com and search for Shy Ace on there. And my secret shit is up there.
I can confirm from somebody that has both seen his leg locking instructional and somebody that has been in his class, there's every bit as much as detail as he shows in person, and this shit is absolute wizardry. It will change your leg locking game. It will change your career. It will change your love life. It will make you a better human being. It will restore your faith in humanity. In all seriousness, it's pound for pound one of the best instructionals I've bought. And if you want to learn how to leg lock like an absolute savage, buy the instructional. It's deep sea leg locks on BJJ Fanatics. Quick question: why is it called deep sea leg locks for everybody out there?
Because if you watch the DVD, you will show that I showed a counter to the inverted heel hook, a counter to a counter to a counter to another counter. So it goes pretty deep. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, I have a counter in there that when I sent it to the BJJ Fanatics guys, they said they've never seen that move before.
No way.
Yeah, they haven't seen it before. It's on there. It's what to do when you're in an inverted heel hook. You could actually finish someone else also in an inverted heel hook. Even if they got your leg, you don't have nothing. I teach them to pummel inside and grab the far leg, and so on. If you see the DVD, there's lots of counters on there. Aoki counters, so the games get pretty deep. A standard heel hook ain't shit. That's just the surface of it. You got inside, outside, inside entries, outside entries, inside breaks, outside breaks, setup, counters. It gets pretty deep.
And shouts out to Emmanuel Vera, who you recorded who was your uke for the.
Yes, my kid Emmanuel Vera. Yes. Shout out to my brother. Okay,
well, thank you everyone for tuning in. We have been the Leg Kick podcast, and Mike, hit the button.